Hey everybody, welcome. It's our first full week of Zendikar Rising draft. I am looking forward to it. I am gonna lean best of three. I'll throw it to chat sometimes and we'll play some best of one for sure. I know people like Premiere and there's some fun variety to be had there as well. But I am gonna start here on best of three. We got a couple of token entries. There was a problem with the launch. In fact, yeah, I'm a little low on Zendikar Rising content right now than I would normally be for a set release, but I was denied stream time on last Thursday when there were real problems with the launch of Zendikar Rising. Wizards has gotten that under control, but in the experimentation of where it was at, we entered a draft and immediately crashed, and then there was a rebuild and download the update, that kind of thing. By the time we got back in, a draft had occurred and had been auto-picked for me. So and we knew that was a possibility, we figured no big deal, we'll end up with the cards, and if it goes wrong, Wizards will take care of us, and they did. I used the report a problem with my event, and I'll put that in the links, or here, let me see if I'll find it right now for those of you watching live, because this is a great link to have. If you have a problem with your event, you're going to want to go to that link and let Wizards know about it, and they'll take care of you. But I have heard very few stories of rejection when reporting a legit issue with something in your event, and it doesn't even matter. For example, I took the pile of cards that the bot drafted, and it had picked two colors and stuck with them. It's pretty clear to me that when you bail out of a draft, the bots take over, and it uses baseline quick draft bot logic to finish your draft, because it wasn't that bad. And in fact, I went 3-3 with a deck that the bots drafted for me. So I got the cards from the event, I got 1,000 gems for going 3-3 with the deck anyway, and then I got a token entry from Wizards for the problem. So be sure to use that. You know, if you use it constantly and for sketchy borderline stuff, they will probably say this person is abusing the system. But as long as you're earnest about it and you're just like, hey, Wizards, I gave you my time and maybe some of my money, and the experience was awful, they will happily say, look, we want you to have a great experience. Here's the resources to do so, to give it another try, right? And if you want to have a great experience with your tabletop retail Magic experience, you're going to go to my sponsor, cardkingdom.com. They are purveyors of everything you need for that, whether it's singles, supplies, sealed product, pre-orders of the latest set. Although now it's just orders, right? I don't know when they are allowed to exactly ship the new stuff, but it's already cooking, right? People are already pre-ordering, filling pre-orders. People are acquiring cards and now starting to sell them back, cracking their boxes, drafting with their friends, and then they're going to sell their stuff back. Always keep an eye on Card Kingdom for selling stuff back, especially. Very few people, very few companies beat them card to card on price, and I've not seen anybody come close to beating them on an average take. I say that again. If you choose one place in the world to sell your cards to without knowing what they're going to give you for it, you would pick Card Kingdom. They give better cash for Magic cards than any other seller out there. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Show me somebody who consistently and buys as much inventory as Card Kingdom for more money than they do. There's just no better place to go to sell your cards. So thank you so much, Card Kingdom, for all your support. Check them out. And we're going to jump in here for a token entry, which is nice. Get to draft effectively on the house. Friday the 25th. Thanks, Hat. Like I said, I wasn't sure when they're legally allowed to ship pre-orders and stuff, but I knew it was coming right up. Certainly you can put your orders in, and they will get it to you as soon as they can. Oh, that's right. I turned off the camera on a couple of scenes One thing I did decide to do, or I experimented with this weekend, when I was feeling, because like I said, I had talked about potentially streaming this weekend and then didn't. But I was also thinking about how, because sometimes what happens is I play some amazing game offline and I wish I'd had some kind of record of it. So I am starting to try recording my play when I'm just playing casually offline at home. But then at that point, I'm not saying anything. It's not the usual type of interactive entertainment. So I pulled my camera down so that if I did use any of that video content, it wouldn't have a weird, useless image of me. And I think I'll probably have to do the same thing on the battlefield. Just remind me when we get there. Crawling Barrens seems worth starting. You know me, I'm not much on... I am skeptical of lands that produce colorless in limited because it's a real cost. You really want your mana to produce colors when you're playing 2 colors in a game, but you could just make this your 18th or 19th land, and that's fine. And it's also a wide open pick. We can go anywhere, any colors with this, and it's really putting a powerhouse effect, a must answer threat on effectively a mana resource, it's like a free spell. Love the Balaged Recovery, though. This is, speaking of free spells, this would be excellent. This is exactly the kind of thing we want. I'm going to start with the Barons, though. I wish I'd look. Deadly Alliance and Vanquish show that there's really nice black going downstream. Doesn't mean we can't take it. If we want Thwart the Grave, we take Thwart the Grave. That's pretty good. But Sajiri Shelter is nice. This is not one of those that's a flip land that has an expensive side and a land side, but it has a narrow side and a land side, and I like that. Thwart is pretty strong though, but again, these lands are effectively free. Let's Allied Assault. Well, I do want to try Allied Assault sometime as well. I think it's Thwart or the land spell. I'm going to go with land spell. Well, if this is tabling, that seems wrong, and I am not going to count on it. What do we got? I've never had a chance this Soaring Thought Thief. I can't remember what it does. Flash, flying, 1/3 for 2, and it gets... Okay, so it's a Miller... little early to decide that something is that wide open. Waticus, it's pack 1, pick 3. So we've seen, this is our second pack that has contained any information whatsoever. So let's not jump to any massive conclusions. I would actually rather have this land spell again. Although this is one of those, it's like, although, you know, late game, this is like a 5/3 menace, which is pretty nice. I still think I'm going to take the land spell and stay open-ish. What's this? Trap Finder, 2/1, human rogue for 2. Can't be blocked if a party member entered the battlefield. And at the beginning of combat, if you have a full party, creatures you control gain whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh, interesting. You want to try and build around that? Like, blue-white is a pretty fun party build around. This is the one that I cut, so I don't love this one because it's just the spell side of it is so weak that I feel like this is mostly just a land. So I think we take the rare. I mean, what are we passing to take that? Like, Spellcraft? This is pretty good. This has been good, but it's 5. Yeah, let's take it and see what we can do. We don't have to marry that, but it's an interesting lean. We can just also lean into more of the rogue stuff and see if maybe we just end up black-blue rogues. Media thinks I'm underestimating that -2. Maybe so. Like I said, I think I did decide that the Force Spike one, or the sensor land, felt even worse. All right. But is this the one to, if we even want that, should we just take the grasp? Like, this has been interesting. A little glue card, does a lot of stuff. It's not amazing, but it does a lot of stuff. But this, we're looking like we could head rogue, so I'm going to take the Sky Dancer as a possibility. And then we get an Into the Royal pretty late. That's a nice sign. This Blood Price is still here. Anti-Cognition would be good in a blue-black Oppo Mill. So let's take that. I think we're headed towards a real thing here. And then we get a Royal Mage. That could help party it up a bit. Shadow Cat. I had this in my black-green counter creature deck, and that was all right. But that seems fine. I think we're probably cutting this shelter here. We're settling in on... Well, we do have this trap finder, and we've added a wizard. We could take the Pack Beast and really help this trap finder. Sky Dancer goes more towards the rogue side. Cleric and everything go more towards the support the rare side. Yeah, we can take the Sky Dancer and focus on the rogue side, and then try to pick these types of things up later. I think with the colors we're in, we'll be happier to focus on the rogue aspect and see. Now this is best of 3. We could bring in a negate. There are some matchups where we're going to be happy to have a negate. Dreadworm hasn't really been a player, but seems like filler. You know, I haven't had to play this, and I don't see it too much. But this is not an embarrassing card. This is a fine set of stats if you need something at 5. But I'm going to throw but it's very replaceable. You can just, there's a lot of easy 5s to get. There's another wizard I can add to our wizard count. We can also just take a Blood Beckoning, but I would rather have the flyer and take the beckoning, like, because I would take multiples of these, but I only want kind of one Blood Beckoning. Are we heading towards enough wizards to add a trap? Could also take a Riptide, as we've seen. Even just a little bit of kicker, this can be really surprising. Like, I think I took the Riptide. This is really scary to look at. Across the way. Scary to anticipate in combat. I'm surprised this is here. This has been pretty good, I think. But between being a nice thing to use the common removal spell on, Rabid Bite. Rabid Bite plus Blight Blade is kill anything. And green is looking open. I mean, we can consider between second to last pick Blight Blade and last pick Ascetic. We could abandon the black and be green blue if it seems. Is that a bomb, do you think? Because I think this is going to be pretty bomby at the uncommon. Whereas Abundance, what does this do? We have instant speed. Yeah, that is pretty darn good. The instant speed plus 2 +1/+1 counters is nice. And fighting. Yeah, this is really appealing, tempting. And given the lack of clear signals to be in rogues, if this were not so strong, I would take it. But we're obviously blue, and domination is good enough to take here. But passing that rare is rough. It was obviously very good. You take a Bubble Snare here on the certainty of, this is just good, and maybe we wheel the Royal Mage. What do we pat? There's a Silencer here. Maybe take Bubble Snare and really keep an eye out on the green here. The late, even though these aren't incredible cards, I'm not suggesting Blight Blade and Ascetic are fist pump type cards, but we're talking 14th pick, 15th pick. So that's the signal to take note of here. Field research. Can I kick it? I sure hope so. Murasa Brute could come around and be part of a weird... in fact, who was it? Was it Hannah who was saying that green has some subtle party enablers? And I was saying, well, not really wizards, but maybe that means blue provides the wizards and green can provide everything else. But maybe this wheels is my point. I'm going to take a field research, though. Another bubble snare over what? Seafloor Stalker. Gems. I feel like I slip off of talking about this, but again, on this account, I don't gem draft that much because we end up 4xing anyway, and we're not in any pinch for resources on my accounts. But if you are on an account that's pinched for resources and you like building your collection for standard, you can rare draft pretty liberally and feel pretty good about it. It doesn't damage your gem EV as much as you might think, and in many cases it's plus gem EV, especially on top of collection building, if what you're into is collection building. Well, I saw this this veil and thought maybe we'd see what Media meant, see what Media is thinking about this thing and take it. But we have another Royal Mage. We could but let's take some signals here. Take note of all the green again. This Visionary is fine. Here's a wizard. Never mind. Here's a green wizard. I was saying I couldn't remember if there was any green wizards, and there's one right here. So maybe green is that weird glue for everything. Oh, sorry, Media. I was going to do it, Media. I was going to, all right, I'm going to take this from Media, and but then I took the Royal Mage. Sorry. We might wheel that one anyway. We'll see. So do we take a shell shield here because it's for sure on color, or do we dabble here? We can go Blightblade now, or Snarecaster. No, we're definitely not sure we're black. In fact, I'm looking for reasons to get into green. I think green is more open than black. You want a shield? All right, we'll take the sure shield. Hey, look at that payoff. Well, here's what we're doing, everybody. And a Chilling Trap is gonna be fine in this deck. Mostly it's gonna draw a card. I think I like that better than the Grasp here. Colossus, you want the Colossus? We do have pretty decent stuff going on. We can take that, and we're also ramping now. I don't know, I wish I had a little more time to work out these picks. Still too early for me. Ooh, we're not playing this. I'm going to take the Kite Sail in case we need flying and we don't get it out of blue as much as we'd like. Tempest may be playable because of that, just to have some flight, but I kind of like a Snarecaster even better. This handles flyers on the blocks and is a relevant creature type. Well, here we go. This is the one that, what do you think of this one, Media? Do you like the -2, -0 better, I assume? Because that's where I'm at now. I think this might be just the worst one in blue. Yeah, we could just take a Visionary here, or even a Survivor. We don't have any Warriors yet. Like, although we're low on 4s as well. But if there was a type that we didn't have, it would be this. I'm gonna be a little weird and lean into curve and creature type. I had this rare in my green black counter deck. Can we splash black? Maybe. Maybe it's worth taking because there's not much else. Although this is not, I mean, it's got a rare symbol on it and it was good in the deck that it was in, but this is not necessarily the type of thing you're psyched to splash. And I kind of just want something like another field research. Cascade Seer is more wizardry, but I think we just want wizardry here. Over the weekend, D. Trying to wheel this broken wing, but we're taking a... I don't think we need the draw 3, given that we picked up two field research and we have our 3rd Royal Mage coming in. If we can make it to the point where we have 5 or 6 mana and the time to spend it drawing cards, we've already got that taken care of. Here we go. A little payoff for kind of what we're doing here, although wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind this. But Vine Gecko Perfecto. I didn't, D. I was talking about that before. Ooh, tough pick here, though. Look, we've got Falconer, a kicker payoff, and a closer. An excellent land spell, and more removal, which in these colors, even a Deliberate wouldn't stink. But I'm going to go and take a look at this. We got 10 seconds. I think we're low on the finishing. I like this in the abstract, and I think in the early pick, I might even take that. But here, I think we need a Falconer. Falconer is what we're trying to do. Spoils of Adventure is splashable, but we don't have any fixing yet. And we're pack 3. So as much as I really want to take this, we don't have the fixing, so I should just take the Vision. We have enough spells that this is worth it for looking at 6. But if we did have green fixing already, I think I might take that uncommon, the draw 3, gain 3. Relic Vial is not us. This could be good in our deck, except it's sorcery speed, which means it's not going to be good in any deck, right? I guess we take the Baloth, but bleh. I like the Stomper. Fine top end. I've really come around on... So my historical context for Zendikar ability to return lands to your hand has been purely as a landfall enabler, and that's kind of how I was looking at... That's how these hit me initially. But it was really this weekend, you know, with you all and with this weekend processing the impact of return lands with these spell lands is really where it's at. And that's so everything I looked at where I was looking at something with the ability of a land returning to hand, I underrated a little bit, I think, because it's much better than that. Yeah, we don't really have cleric, do we? But can't this be the cleric? Maybe not. Yeah, I guess we didn't get a pack beast. I'll take this. Here's a Broken Wings. We'll take that for the board. Oh, I do have a cleric in the board. Okay, good. Fine, good. This kind of thing, here's another land returns to at hand that I was thinking in terms of landfall, but not in terms of... Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, man, look at this. Nice finish. I think we go Deliberate. I already have a Might of Marasa. I'm going to go Deliberate. You wanted... I guess Might had the kicker. I don't really like playing 2 of these, though, is the thing. Maybe because this is best of 3, I could have justified it. But I haven't played 2 Mights yet and haven't wanted 2 Mights yet, which is why I made that pick. It turned out okay. we pivoted away from black and found a relatively open lane. Apparently I didn't draft the spell lands as highly as I should have, though. Feels like we're low there. But we can go 16-11. We do have this spell land looking for instants and sorceries. We have this cleric we can bring in. We probably should bring in. We also need this Death Toucher. Okay. All right. This is what we're cutting from. Let's see what we're going to do. Yeah, this didn't really get there. We can cut that. You're right. Especially, it's also not like if we cut non-creatures, I'm more inclined to look towards the ones that aren't findable with our spell land. Although Bubble Snare is good enough. So yeah, everything else at least is either kicker based or findable with vision. I don't know if I want to cut a field research given this. Let's also look at our creature types. Yeah, we got one cleric. And then 4, 2, 6 on the back end. Yeah, we could cut a Deliberate too. Again, let's see. If we're looking at 6 out of 40 is like 6 times 8, 6 times 7, 42. So it's like 6 or 7. You need 6 or 7 to find this on average. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're right on the edge. We're just going to miss with this significant more if we cut the Deliberate. Snarecaster, kind of medium. How are we doing on rogues again? 4 rogues total. We can certainly cut 1, I agree. Not cutting that. Could cut the Riptide, although now we have enough to make that scary. To cut this Baloth. How about that? That's pretty boring and not relevant creature type wise. Stomper isn't relevant creature type wise, but it's a nice top end. We're getting there, but I guess I do have to cut the Deliberate. And you could argue for a land cut, but with the Crawling Barrens, I really like this this set of 18 here. Yeah, I think Vision we play and cross our fingers when we cast it sometimes, you know. Really? Yeah, but I mean, it's on the game plan of being big. I'm not going to bring flying equipment in until I feel like the matchup demands it. Well, it's up to. Can we just talk about 6/5 trample for 6 for a second? I mean, for this deck, like what? If we do have a Seagate Colossus, I guess, which you could, but you know, I'm suggesting we need some top end. I do need to cut stuff though. I get that. Yeah, we could start both Snarecasters in the board. We do have a Falconer for some air defense inherently, and we don't necessarily need the rogues. We have 2. Well, we also need multiple cuts, so maybe we just do both. And then we end up with both field researches, so effectively field research becomes our 6-drop, you know. And this is a somewhat of effectively a 6-drop plus. Okay. I'm in. No, we're not here. I can hop there for you. Thank you for that sub. Thank you, Fantasia. If we take out Shell Shield, then I would like to bring back the... we could take out Shell Shield and bring back the simple Deliberate. I mean, Deliberate, at the very least, is generically playable. So something you can do in a best-of-3 situation like this is, say, start with Deliberate, and then if we're up against heavy removal or significant removal, we bring in Shell Shield, and if not, we bring in something else. You can start with a really replaceable card but it's not bad in anything, and then make this our go-to swap card. You think there's enough? If David, if you think so, you're saying that removal is so prevalent and strong that Shell Shield is just good all the time. One thing that really needs to be noted about Shell Shield that has brought me down on it a bit, which is maybe why I'm pushing, is that really what you want is the hexproof, and that's 2 mana. And we've seen that, you know, there was the Flash Aura in Ikoria that was 2 mana that gave hexproof. So, you know, we've seen it and seen it be playable, but the difference between 1 and 2 for the hexproof was pretty huge for me. Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to assess Shell Shield based only on Vine Gecko. It's a little plus for it, but from a do we run it standpoint, it's not a huge mover. But again, I'm at a point in time where what I do here and how I approach early format stuff is to listen to my community. If people in my chat who I respect and who've been thinking about this and playing all weekend and are saying, no, try this, let's go Shell Shield, I'm in. Show me. Let's figure it out. And let's call this our deck. And let's see, we pivoted to green-blue when we got into the Lull Mage Familiar, some sort of Lull Mage, lulled into it. How do I bounce back from bad losing streaks? You either, well, there's nothing to do but play out of it. You cannot break a losing streak without playing the game of Magic. So you really just have to ask yourself if you're in a mental state where you are capable of giving yourself a reasonably good / best chance of breaking that streak. There, you can get into a mindset where you are so down on yourself and so you almost want it. You know, like you can get into a losing streak state where you subconsciously almost want more proof at how unlucky you are. And I think if you got to watch it, because you can get into a mental state where you think you're playing fine enough, and actually there's a self-sabotaging part of you that's really mad at the game, looking to lose, and it's very, very hard to play your best in that mind state. So if you really feel like the game has bringing you down and you're in a negative mental state about it, take a break or get your magic kicks by watching your favorite streamer play for a little bit, or bounce around different streamers, check out draft videos, read some articles, engage with Magic in ways that can't infuriate you. You know what I'm saying? And then get back on the horse when you're ready. Anyway, yeah, let's try this out. Anybody redeem bling? David is reaching in the dark for unaired memes. I don't know if I've got that for you that I want to do via that method. I'll say that Hat did some work on some memes that weren't working due to length, so there is that. But I'll tell you what. Since I accidentally previewed the flood, the Peter Gabriel flood meme, I'll preview the opposite side of that for you, David. This is also, I suggested this idea and Hat ran with it.
Where are we going? To Neverland. 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 Oh, but Neverland.
Yes, this is another place I knew I was going to be gone. Thank you. We'll take care of that. And that, of course, is to contrast. Oh, weird. Hold on a second. I'm going to hit a button that I think is not going to work. I think it's going to re-show that video. Let me see what happens when I press this.
Where are we?
Yeah. Oh, I've got some mismapped stuff. Hold on. Now I want to fix that. Live QA, everybody's favorite. But that was Flood 1, which is pointing at the wrong thing. Clearly. Maybe? Now let's try.
Where are we going?
Huh. Well, immediate QA failed. Today we will not have the Flood one. We will only have the Neverland one, and we'll figure. Nah, it's just my. I think it's probably my buttons. Well, actually, maybe let me try it from here and see what happens.
Oh, here comes the flood.
There you go. I just need to manual the Flood today. Basically, my button is mismapped. I have a couple buttons that are all mapped to the same video. Okie doke. Nobody redeemed land bling though, so I will choose. Yeah, the Flood one is good because it's so melancholy, right? It's like it is exactly the feel of resigned to losing after you drew your 14th land or whatever. Now, did we get a green? I don't like using the jumpstart lands unless I've got one of each. It's the problem. I don't often have one of each. So I'm going to go with classic. Oops. And do we like that distribution? Well, we've got a green 1-drop. I think we can, and we've got this blue spell land, so I think we should go even, not 9-7. We want to go 8-8. Yeah. I just haven't turned my camera back on yet. I was explaining that I turned my camera off this weekend because I was actually recording myself play my offline not casual, but my offline. I was recording my offline play this weekend in case for any reason I wanted to show some incredible game or sequence. Nothing came up that materialized that makes that matter, but the point is that's why my camera was off. All right. Yeah, kicker is double blue. It's true, but I also just feel like I'm a slave to my my early drops, and I am going to see that I want green early, and therefore we're gonna we're going to run it with that much green. Yeah, it's 9-8, which is exactly where I think it should be. That's a funny visual bug. Oh, you can't see it very well, but here, look. Stomper. Thank you, Spartan Commander. 8 months, 2-month streak. Very nice. Now then. 0 and 0. Let's do a T-par. How do you think we're going to do? If we played this out a million times, what would our average win count be? We can keep this. Bubble Snare is excellent, partly because if you do face some hyper aggro Boros deck or whatever, you can just run this out for 1 mana on their aggro creature that's attacked once and keep it at once, you know? Royal Mage is fine, but obviously not going to beat Gecko for our first play here. First kick spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast, and when you kick stuff, put a counter on. We already have, I mean, if Oppo had played anything, I would have absolutely snared it to get ourselves going on that front. As it is, I'm going to attack and then probably just field research, and we'll look to get that back later with the Royal Mage. Oh, thanks. CBL is off right now. More weekend restart type stuff. Should be up shortly. Now try. Well, you could make an argument for just divining to use, quote, all our mana, but I'll go ahead and Bubble Snare here. We'll get a counter out on, tap this thing down, it'll be fine. Oops. So I'm not going to get the discount on this, which makes it pretty weak as far as control magics have gone. 3 blue is oppressive, and you need to, you know, get a significant X to get anything particularly big. But it just goes to the strength of control magics that it's still fine. This is one of my favorite designs of the set, and somebody can remind me later, and I'll give you a little game design soapbox on Farsight Adept. But I love this card for a lot of different little reasons. So now let's go with Falconer on 5, and then start kicking the heck out of stuff next turn. If we can land the Falconer and have both Gecko and Falconer when we kick the Royal Mage before kicking the field research, I don't see how we could lose with that type of overwhelming advantage. But there's a lot of ifs there. We need to make it to our next turn and resolve our spells. All right, that's great for us. I just didn't want to see removal out of black, and so not seeing removal here seems good. We have to take 6, but then we get what I wanted, which is untapping with 6 mana and the ability to start kicking stuff. So we could also dominate, you know, a Farsight Adept, but we'll wait. We'll get something like the Outrider or even their next big thing here. I'm just going to go kick in right now. Ooh, we'll bottom this, but the Baron seems good at this stage of the game. Right? We can take that. We have other stuff to do, too. And now we've got a 4-4. We're at 14. It's possible they do something like drop another Outrider and make attacks rough for us. I'm going to... we could also just chump with the Royal Mage in that spot. We could race them back and send 8, drop them down to 7, and say, you really want to crack back? I'm kind of liking that. And I'm going to be willing to put this Royal Mage in harm's way, especially in the case of like another Outrider or something. Next turn, we can even play Ascetic and Survivor. Gain some life back. Keep applying the pressure. Drop the land. Oh yeah, I do owe you that. You can see the new again. I'm also getting used to my own new memes. You got to understand, I don't have the synapses connected quite yet on everything. But let's see if this works. Yeah, it feels like we won't need it, but given that they haven't pumped anything, I'm willing to take another 6 here, especially because we have Ascetic ready to gain us 3. I don't think there's a game-winning spell from Oppo there. Maybe there was. I guess I was at risk. Well, no, it's double white, right? There's the double white land spell, and that's also a sorcery, so never mind, it wasn't. Yeah, now we can force... Let's see, can we can't get rid of 2 blockers. Let's play this land anyway. I know I want that out there. Yeah, full party, but I don't think they're going to have the ability to attack. We probably just want to dominate. We could go 1, 2, 3. Steal 1 blocker with +1/+1 counter guy. What? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think I like Hannah's line of just doing what I was intending to in the first place. Well, okay, so we steal the 2/1. But that doesn't win us the game. Are we lethal? Well, sorry, gang. I don't see lethal quite. I believe it's there, but I'm out of hourglasses. I don't have time to figure it out. Had to do it. But I can do this on the flyer. I believe you that I miss lethal, but I also would rather miss lethal for a turn and not throw away my turn trying to find it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and we should still attack with a Vine. We have enough on D now. And they don't have the damage here to kill it. I don't think you're allowed to punt me unless you can name the lethal. Okay, there you go. As long as you can name the lethal, I'll let you do the punt. But you're not allowed to punt just because other people are saying they found lethal. Nah, a punt is whatever you all say it is. D gets to call it a punt if he thinks it's a punt, and if you all agree, you can join him. All right. Now am I missing any lethal? I don't have any trample here. We lost our gecko. Because we didn't look at that. Still probably okay that that happened. We're going to go Falconer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Falconer plus 3. They still don't have any flying to show for it. I'm going to go Falconer, Holda, and... yeah, Falconer... Also, anybody who is saying I, quote, had lethal, again, I don't remember the situation now. They better have been tapped out. If they... I can't remember now, but if they had mana and possible plays, don't tell me I had lethal. I maybe had lethal, right? Okay. Just saying I didn't remember. I'm going to go ahead and just cast this for cards here. And then we'll make Oppo have something for the flyer. Pretty good. We can actually steal that with domination. How about that? I have no regrets. I did the right thing in my spot, which was making a reasonable play that I had lined out in front of me rather than timing out trying to find the perfect one. So... pretty roguey, it looks like. I don't know, they're like Esper Party. Seems like it's almost a trap finder deck here. So what do we want to do about this? Kind of like our solid 2-color approach a little more than the risky 3-color we're seeing here. They had some flyers. Were there anything worth negating? It seemed mostly about creatures. In fact, that's basically all we saw. Maybe you just want the broken wings. We only saw one flyer, but it's a good one. Hey, Oni. You want the Stomper in for what? What are we bringing stuff in for? You gotta make cuts. Artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Yeah, it's true. We should cut the spell shield since the shell shield since we didn't see that. We can just bring in either our own removal. Sure, let's add some more action and cut the removal protection. Nice, Oni. And it had red in it just for you. Very nice. Try and familiar it on 3 with any land. any land before turn 3, that is. I suppose we could draw our spell land on 3, and it wouldn't be enough for the turn 3 familiar. Ideally, we go turn 3 familiar into turn 5 ascetic into turn, you know... Actually, we got to get our Riptide down and then start kicking this stuff. The thing is, to queue, often the system isn't sure either. It's what we call a race condition, because the game clock on your computer and the system clock on the server they're not perfect. Like, there's no way that they can show you on screen a countdown that is just perfectly tied to the system clock that is actually gonna click the switch that takes you out of sideboarding. So they call that a race condition, and you, as a designer, you try to account for it by communicating to the player visually almost the uncertainty of the race condition, such as, like, you know, taking the cancel button away as soon as you know for sure it's locked in. But yeah, anyway, it's not race conditions make that kind of thing trickier than it can seem. And yeah, I got tripped up by stupid race conditions in design all the time. Well, we need our land to execute the turn 4 ascetic plan, but if not, we at least have, like, a Risen Riptide. We could kick the Bubble Snare if we needed to. Yeah, I think that this is feeling Dominaria-like, which is a good thing in general, but I think the reason why is because of Kicker again. The Kicker is having the same impact here as it did in Dominaria, which is giving us stuff to do with our mana throughout the game. Oh yeah, you get the... Sure. I think of that as my meme for when I actually kick something, not when I play that card, but it is right there on the card, isn't it? It's true. I can use Duncan's too. But I mean, this is used your actual card, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we gotta play this tap land, and then we'll play like the Riptide. Or we could Royal. I like Riptide here though. Nice D. Too bad. Do some premium removal though. That's all right. And let's see. Wait, I gotta make. This is whenever tap another untapped rogue. I don't know if there's instant speed rogues that are gonna turn this all death touchy, but I'm gonna risk it. I don't know the set. If the flash rogue gets me here, I'm gonna tip the cap. And learn the set, I guess. Got it. Thanks, gang. Let's see. Do we want... We could Royal one of these two and get in for a chunk. Set up a snare next turn. Yeah, Signpost has flash, but it's not castable here, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. That's true. Well, it only costs you, but I want to kick it because of the Riptide. So that's probably the reason to do the Royal here. We may need the kick next turn, so let's do this here because we need the kick to bother with the Into the Royal. Next turn, maybe we need the kick to actually tap something. And doesn't really matter which. If we felt like we had enough to do, we could also make the argument for bubble snaring the Stinger now. Just say that, hey, you know, yes, we want to, it'd be nice to kick this for the purposes of turning the Riptide into 5 power, but we can set ourselves up to just snare this now, and then next turn be casting an Ascetic, or potentially dominating a small thing if we draw a land. That's interesting. But they're at 12. It does use up our whole turn. I'm going to do it. I think this is correct. I was intending to use this to get an extra 5 out of the Riptide, but I don't think that should be my priority because it's basically paying 3 to get 5, and I've got a lot of stuff to do here that puts more permanent damage on the table anyway. Six mana, we can kick the Field Research and still get our 5 damage from the Riptide anyway. So I'm gonna do that. Here, I'll do, yeah, we'll do Duncan's this time.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Well, I'm going. Go on.
And this just is like evil, right? Because the CMC of this is 2 still. So despite them paying 6, we can steal it like it was a 2. Let's go ahead and take it. Yoink! Thank you, Dirt Sleep. It did get the scoop. Thoughts on Base Camp? What are we talking about? Is that a magic card? You're talking about the service? I haven't used the project management service personally. Oh, okay. Base Camp, the card. I don't know what that does. Is that a new one? Oh, it looks like it. Oh, yeah. It was an uncommon land. I haven't really been paying attention to it. Seems pretty narrow, but I mean, taps for colorless. So if you're doing that thing and you're in, I think if you're playing 3 to 5 color party, then I would run it. Sure. But got a cost. Yeah, so far I've had my party decks have really wanted to just be like 2 color as much as you can do. but that's true. It could splash party bombs and anyway. Yeah, I can bring up that card and I'll talk to it for a sec. What's it called though? What's it called? I want to talk about a card. I can't remember what it's called. Here we go. Farsight Adept. Thank you for that sub. Setting up a little soapbox. Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about one of my favorite little card designs in Zendikar from a game designer perspective. From a Magic game design perspective, I wanted to share a card that is tickling my brain a bit, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to move over to left monitor. We're going to take a look. That is Farsight Adept. Doesn't seem like much of a big deal, but there's a couple things going on here that I really wanted to point out from a how to make a limited set sing. And it's about little cards like this, I think, because this doesn't look, it's not that important overall, but it's got a little piece of glue and it's doing some things that I think Magic should do more of, which is why I want to talk about it. So first of all, we've got this party mechanic in the set that is looking for wizards, rogues, warriors, and clerics, right? So, and white has a lot of clerics and a lot of warriors, doesn't have any wizards except this one. So first thing, it's providing this little oddball support through a type line to really help a mechanic. When you can help, elegance is super important in Magic. There's so many complicated cards doing so many complicated things that when you can make value out of a very simple card for synergies and other interactions, it's amazing for your limited environment. So with the simplicity of just a creature type, something not very complicated, you have immediately made it a glue piece for one of your load-bearing mechanics in the set. And I think that's very clever to even have load-bearing mechanics that, you know, Tribal is so great because the cards that they're interacting with are ultimately still very simple. You can have a vanilla, like let's say this didn't have any rules text at all. If this was just a 2 and a white for a 3/3 core wizard, it's so grokkable and so easy to understand. And so let's get to that. Some of you may not know the concept of the virtual vanilla. So vanilla, let's talk about all the vanilla concepts in Magic. A vanilla is a creature in Magic with no rules text. It only has a creature type, a power, and a toughness, and a name and a casting cost. That's it. That's a vanilla creature. A French vanilla creature is the same thing, except it has one, maybe 2 keyword mechanics on it. So maybe like if Farsight Adept just said vigilance on it, that would be French vanilla, because it's vanilla, but it has one very easy, grokkable, known, learnable, everybody knows it type mechanic, French vanilla, right? Okay, virtual vanilla is one of the most important concepts in Magic design that I learned through the Great Designer Search. Actually, it was part of one of the answers of the Great Designer Search way back before I worked at Wizards. Helped me understand that concept, and that's the idea of a creature that does something. It has rules text, but the turn after it enters the battlefield, like when you untap with that card on the battlefield, it acts like a vanilla. Its complexity once on the board is vanilla-like. So yes, it's got this rules text, but you learn quickly once it's on the battlefield that you can ignore it. Once it hits there and you process in your mind, oh, this is just a 3/3, it makes it, again, very elegant, very simple, you want to help people process a complex battlefield. Magic battlefields get so complex. So virtual vanillas are an extremely powerful tool for that. And once you understand that term and understand the value of it, that you get complexity on the card that doesn't carry over to complexity on the battlefield, it's an extremely powerful tool. So I love virtual vanillas as well. Another powerful tool for creating synergies and creating a deep draft environment while creating simple pieces for that environment. That's the key there. So let's take another step, though, towards what I love about this card. Now, this is the sneaky part. I said let's say this was vanilla. If this were a 3/3 for 3 with a core wizard 3/3 for 3 with no rules text, would it be better or worse? And this is what makes this card so great, I think, because it makes it worse, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way. For a new player, like, we all love the feel of drawing a card, right? Like, drawing a card just feels great. Or let's take it to an extreme. Let's say that this said Farsight Adept was 2 and a white for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. That would be like, we would call that busted. That would be like some crazy, we'd never seen anything like that in white, and it would probably be an uncommon at best, right? I mean, it would be, we would flip over it. But here's the key. For a new player, for someone who hasn't really processed this game quite as deeply as people on this channel have, that this card is not much different in terms of how it feels to play than if it just said draw a card. Because that experience of drawing the card, that rush, that happiness, yes, I got a card, is still there. You still get that great feeling. And us experienced players, we know what the drawback is. We know the trade-off. We know our opponent is getting a card too. But even if we know that, isn't that, as far as drawbacks go, isn't that a good one? Like, we both draw? Because again, one of the things I've said that a problem you need to solve with your limited set, if you're making a set for Magic and you want to make it fun for limited, you have to answer the question, how do we avoid the natural tendency of the rules of Magic to lead to dump our hands and then draw go? Jump our hands, draw a land, pass, draw a land, pass, draw a spell, cast it, draw a land, pass, right? That's bad. You don't want Magic to end up in these end states where people are draw, go. You want people to be doing stuff in the late game. Drawing cards is how you do that. So I love the quote drawback of each player draws a card. I think it's fantastic, and that's what I wanted to get at for Wizards to use more of. I think Wizards should use way more of each player draws a card, because it's a drawback. You actually get to make, because like white doesn't get 3/3s for 3 at common. It only gets a 3/3 for 3 at common because it has a quote drawback on it, but it doesn't even really feel like one. So for a lot of players, for a lot of newer players, this card feels better than it is, and I think that's good. And also, here's secretly what this card can do that is what makes it a drawback, but also what really I really like it. So let's say you have this card and you're on the play and I'm on the draw, and I keep a sketchy 2-lander and I am just biting my nails on that 2-lander, and I play a land, and you do something and it comes to me. Basically, I play 2 lands and have not drawn a 3rd land yet. I pass to you on your turn, and you play Farsight Adept. I draw an extra card. It's not a land, And then I go to my third turn. I draw a land. I drew my third land. I play it on time. I play my own 3-drop. You have no idea with your little Farsight Adept play that you just unscrewed me. I was mana screwed, and you, my opponent, solved my problem for me. And you turned a game that was not going to be a game into a game by playing this card that bailed me out. Now, this isn't going to happen every time, but it is part of why this is a drawback, right? It's part of why Farsight Adept is truly a drawback, is that you might really help your opponent get unstuck from a tough mana situation. But you know what sucks the most about Magic? Tough mana situations, like losing games because you just drew the wrong percentage of your deck or just got stuck on 2 at the wrong time. So the fact that while feeling good to the caster, it can have the effect of taking the worst feel-bad Magic has and flipping it into a real game for their opponent without even knowing it, without you even knowing that you might have done that. It basically just creates all this extra actual magic, right? So the combination of all this creates a package where a newer player sees it and it seems like all upside. So it reads great, great, great to new players. It reads reasonable to us experienced players. We understand the trade-off, but we can still say it's still working for me. I'm willing to take that trade-off because of what it's doing for my deck. And those trade-offs, the negatives, are actually negatives that lead to more gameplay for both players in the end game, and potentially allow a non-game of Magic to become a game because you accidentally, as part of the drawback of the card, helped unstick your opponent. And when all of those things combine together on this card that's a virtual vanilla, that's ultimately so simple, it actually just makes my designer heart sing, because you can make your splashy rares, your splashy mythics that make people take to Twitter and declare Magic is dead. And there's some excitement in that as a designer, to be sure. But coming up with cards like this, doing the job this card is doing for this set, and doing this job that in the abstract cards like this could do for the game in general, these are the cards that I get super excited about as a designer. These are the cards that go, oh, that is genius. Oh, that is great. Oh, do more of this, Wizards. So on that front, I do want to say, like, Wizards, yeah, more drawback by drawing cards in parity. I think both players drawing cards as a drawback is about the best drawback Magic could do more of for the creatures, because it allows you to make the creatures better while fixing some of the frustrations about Magic that you have to fix every time you go into a set. These problems don't go away. It's like your checklist of Magic crap that you have to fix for your environment every time. And I think this is an incredible tool for that toolbox. So I don't know who on the design team, or whether it was the lead designer, the lead developer, or who created this card, but I love it. It seems like nothing. It seems like a minor thing, but from a game design standpoint, I think it's an important lesson and a home run. So good job on the Farsight Adept Wizards. Any questions? The grade? I don't give grades. What's the point of grades? Tell me about the deck I have so far, G-Guards, and I'll tell you whether we should take it or not. I hate grades. I like context. What's my party situation? What's my deck so far? What's my curve? What? No, David, actually, you will find that all of the Ryan Spain limited resources set reviews are grade free. We did not do grades until Jonathan Laux said, people like grades too much, let's do grades. And ultimately he was correct. One of the toughest parts about being a game designer is understanding where your preferences are not correct. Understanding where what makes you happy as an individual gamer is not going to make the most people happy who consume your game, or in this case, content, right? So I I think people like grades enough that it's maybe it has been correct for LR to do them, but I am pretty, I don't want to say staunchly anti-grade, because again, I do get why people like them and what they're for, but I find them to be misleading and not nearly as valuable as having good conversations about what matters in card evaluation. All right. Let's jump back in. I'm gonna leave the world, the chat to answer that for you, Oni. People can tell you what they think. I saw it, D. You got it, buddy. And I timed you out because I don't want to hear... Stop lobbying to me about what a punt is. If you want to try and convince the viewers what a punt is, great. But I am uninterested in debating with you about what qualifies. You all decide. I'm just the one getting punted. Well, this is awkward. How about one forest here to make me actually like this hand? Oops, there we go. We keeping though. We do have a draw 3 on 3, but we're on the play or on the draw. So if we don't draw anything else to do, we'll discard if we cast this. I think I'm going to mulligan. And yeah, we'll keep this. And with the field research, I'm going to ditch. Boy, I kind of want all 3 of our action. We could send an island back, but we don't have a second one for the Falconer, but we can count on the field research unsticking us a little bit. I think it's island or barrens, but I think we risk the double blue situation and ditch an island looking for a second blue with the field research. Falconer's not happening soon, but it could be easily happening turn 5. I don't know. I mean, I think if you're like, we'll never make it to 5, well, we should just scoop it up. I mean, I think we plan to make it to 5 and cast this Falconer. There we go. Got our blue right away. No need to put this isn't attacking anytime soon, so let's start by throwing out some color. Do we Royal Mage here? Do we have 3 of them? We have 3 Royal Mages, right? I'm going to be disciplined and just play this as a 2-1. Or try. We could get Force spiked here. Sure. No big deal there. Looks like they have more counters up. We could play Trap Finder over the research. Then if they are holding up any more, unless controller pays 1 type counters, we'll still resolve this. And it provides some pressure instead of just cards. So I'm going to go with the Trap Finder. Well, now a question is, do we want counters on the land or extra cards? I think with knowing that we know what we're going to do next turn, it's going to cast this Falconer on 5, as I said we were going to try and do. And so we'll save the field research for later, and we can kick it and then actually get our scry on as well and put some counters on this land. That's my plan. Yeah, maybe. Ambush our Trap Finder. Well, new plan. I guess we replay the trap finder as opposed to making land counters right now. Do I have any formula or a theory about when to open packs if you're trying to collection build in order to maximize efficiency? I am willing to be proven wrong by data if someone wants to point me to like a very well-reasoned article or very clean explanation. But my general philosophy is I doubt that the efficiency you're gaining by holding off on opening packs is more useful to you as a constructed player than just opening your damn packs and using the cards inside. That's what I say. But I don't care enough about that optimalness to be sure that I'm correct. I say that, but it may be true that I say that and I'm wrong, and that there are very good reasons as a constructed player to do that. But my feeling is there are cards in those things. Did you know that there are cards in them? Like if you open them, there are cards inside that you can immediately put into your deck. Sometimes I feel like people don't seem to remember that, or like that they're feeling that it feels like fancy play syndrome to me. To be yes, and I just feel like gaming duplicate protection is fancy play syndrome. That's what I'm saying. Vargan kind of sums it up where I'm at. It's like, again, you can show me the proof, but I imagine you should just open them to make yourself happy. All right. Wait, hold on, says Hat. Well, we could play the Survivor and attack with the Trap Finder because of the Survivor thing, but I think I'd rather... we could even play Survivor and add counters to the Baron. Actually, I like that. I'm going to do that. And I think we can put the Survivor counter on the Trap Finder to spread out our difficult to block damage. I mean, it's easy to just put it on the flyer, but then we make one big vulnerable flyer. And our Trap Finder is going to be unblockable quite a bit of the time. So I like spreading it out. Oh yeah, we also know they have Into the Royal anyway. I like getting the counters going on the Barons, though. I wouldn't even mind on the land. We just have to be careful and not activate this. Oh, and then may have it become... important to note that we can add counters as a Crawling Barons without... Oh, and actually, it's never... no worries. It's never not a land. So it never can be roiled. Yeah, we're all catching up there. Ah, but optimal is so relative. The name of the stream is not Going Optimal on MTGA Collection Building for Constructed. I try to call out that I behave differently than anybody else should, and that, in fact, all of our behaviors should be based on personal goals for play and win rates, etc. There's so many factors that go into what's optimal for you. Okay, sorry, Oppo. Not optimal for anybody for me to take forever. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could do a make the Barons and... play Trap Finder, which I actually think that's fine. I like that. And a Trap Finder, and then counter up the land and continue applying pressure. Can even send the survivor if they want to block the Royal Mage, fine by me. Chump or pump? Yeah, if they have to go +3 to 2-for-1 themselves, we'll take that. Yeah, we're just trying to get them dead before their card advantage starts to turn into board advantage. I don't know what this is. Kicker 3, if it was kicked, enters with a +1/+1 counter on it for each non-basic land your opponents control. That doesn't seem great, but when it becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it and create... Okay, so it's easily killable, but it breaks down into some other stuff. That seems pretty good. And... we have a which we can kick the field research, and we may even find one of the... We have a rogue at... oh no, yeah, we have a 1-mana green rogue that we might find. Yeah, I know we, quote, need cleric, but what I'm saying is we might find a card we can actually play this turn. Take the Vine Gecko, though. Doesn't have reach or anything, right? So, just attack Falconer. Doesn't have a charge on it, so they can't kick an Into the Royal, but they could respond here and take out the Falconer. They don't have the... Can't have the common black 5-mana removal because they don't have... Alright, so they're going for low value Into the Royal. I think that's pretty good for us with our Into the Royal. Yeah, I would counter it, but we can maybe send that. We'll see. That plays. Well, we get to drop Falconer, and then we'll have 3 left over, so we can go Falconer, Gecko. Sure. Well, we don't have the mana for 2 flyers. Yep, I'm attacking. No worries, we're pre-combat. We did. We got match 1. Oh, yeah, I should make a note of that, shouldn't I? We are 1-0. Little force block action. Okay. I still think this is pretty good for us. They're slowly running out of cards here, and we're about to drop another flyer. This is the must be blocked, so that's what we got to do. Block the heck out of it. But I guess they just get the Survivor and the Falcon, or at least we get to keep the Gecko, which will go well next turn with a Diviner and a Kicked Royal. Maybe they've got a pump spell or something to make it even better. There you go. A little better. Get the Gecko too. Still feels pretty good to me, though. They're down to one card. Okay, okay. Still feels pretty good. All right. You're a little late, Shell Shield. Little late. We could bring the Trap Finder back if we wanted. And maybe I'll do that on their turn. Then we can hold up Shell Shield if we need it, and Royal if we don't. Could even bring back the Survivor to put another counter on the Diviner if we wanted to change the clock. We do have one Cleric, the green 5-drop. And as Hannah pointed out, green has a lot of little smatterings of everything, so green kind of fills out whatever your gaps are a little bit in party assembly. See, at 16, we just take this, and if they don't add to the board, maybe we go ahead and kick the Arbor Mage, bounce the Arbor Mage. Let's see what they can find here, though. Yeah. But I wanted to Royal. If I double block and use Shell Shield, because we can just kind of... Do I want to go with a Trap Finder, though? Well, we could if we thought... I mean, this doesn't matter if everything we have is turned sideways. Why is it a problem? People talking about Arbor Mage kicking being a problem. If everything we have is sideways, how does it matter? So that's what I'm doing. Can I kick it? Yes, I can. Let's start here, see if we get any action. That's action. Let's take... Yeah, we'll take steal over draw 3. I mean, you can make an argument for either. We can actually kick this right now. We can't steal that guy, but we could steal any other future guy. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I'll take field research. We can kick it right now.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Well, I'm going. Go on.
Didn't want to play the land until I knew if we were holding up for shield or Blight Blade. All right. If we try to steal the construct, it destroys itself and makes a bunch of little dudes instead. 'Cause of rules. Which land? This land? What land are we talking about? This one or this one or... Yeah, that one seems a little rough on the A little clunky. East wants to know about color rankings. I'm liking blue very much. Tend to want to be in blue right now. After that, though, it's like archetypically, which blue decks do I like best? Blue, red, blue, green. Yeah, this could be a negate oppo. We've got land spell, into the royal, might, reclaim, into the royal, disruption. I mean, we saw mostly spells, right? So negate seems good, actively good. Spell shield, stopping things like the into the royals, but a lot of their combat interaction is about pumping their own things. So I think I like swapping out the shell shield for the interaction with their removal that stops the stuff that also goes after their own things. Enough flyers for a snare caster, possibly. Do we not really see any? We didn't really see any. We might presume they're there, but I'm going to go with just that change for now, and we'll keep an eye on this Broken Wings, although that's probably good too. They're using bubble, maybe Broken Wings for something. Trouble is I don't know what to cut, so I'm just going to hit done now, but if we go to 3, we can think about what we bring a Broken Wings in for. Yeah, I agree that it's probably main deckable guards has a lot of options, but I'm trying to figure out what we cut for it here if we go to game 3. I'm going to keep this, and we're going to try to use this vision for action. Guards would play the vision. I'm going to be super greeds. See? Apparently guards is punished all the time. You gotta be on team never punished. If we didn't have 3 royal mages, I might agree with you, David, but we have 3, right? Like, so I'm expecting to find this on the way back or whatever. Here's another one. This one... So, like, we could bubble snare that, but it still has value. It matters somewhat. It gives them, I mean, it's not nothing. I guess it stops it from doing 1 block or something. Yeah, I wouldn't. Let's not do that. How about our own Riptide, though? Yeah, that's the plan, Kruzica. All right. Well, can't kick the bubble snare for the Riptide while guaranteeing the Falconer next turn, so I'm going to continue to hold the vision for hopeful action finding and play out the untapped land so we can kick the snare now, drop that visionary down, and yeah, I'm going to bubble the wizard, yep, and maybe they get it back, but all we can do is beat, right? Gotta beat down and hope it's gonna be enough. I worry that they just kicked into they kick into the royal here, send both cards back, draw 2, or they get, like, send the Riptide back, replace the visionary. Like, this is a scary card to see. Alright, this is not, again, the worst. Could royal the gecko. or Snare the Gecko. Both are vulnerable to the same Force Spike style effect. Both trigger the Riptide. You like Snare? It's a question of Royal versus Snare. Exactly. Let's do this. I mean, they could. There's all this stuff they could have, but at the end of the day, we need to keep making our Riptide a 5/5 and try to get them dead before they actually... You know what I mean? If they have it, congrats, Oppo. The deck synergies you've put together are working. I mean, that's all you can do. Salute. Well done, Oppo. Good job. Oh, but it is kicked. I mean, they have the gecko that allows them to kick it. That's what people were saying, Furnace.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it?
But I don't mind the play. Like, we made him have it. We made him have it. Made them have it. That was the plan. Maybe they'll choke on their cards and we can still get there. Gotta play this as a land now, though. And try to set up Falconer for damage in the air that they can't stop. Another Royal to reset. You know, if they reset the current, that could hurt. Exactly. I mean, that's why I'm not, you know, I'm not tilty or anything in your Hajj. We're just making them have it and then not being surprised when they do, right? Interesting to play that as a creature. You can, like, if it's not ramping you, then it's usually better as a land unless you need the body. Sometimes a body is just worth it, though, having that body. We could do Riptide holding Royal at the ready, but I think at 16 here, we're going to Falconer and hope that they don't have further kicker action, but I'm not holding out much hope. At least we got another spell through possible counter magic. And this has an attack. I will trade Royal Mage for either of these. Sure. So that could be why Oppo decided to go for creature over land anyway. They just wanted it as a chumper on the ground. Or trader on the ground, I should say. That wasn't a chump, it was a good trade. Got to do field research or into the Royal before this second Royal Mage so we get value on the kick. Oppo's done some powerful stuff, but there you go. I was gonna say, ultimately they still need to deal with our flyer. Unfortunately they did. Now we're gonna retry getting there on Riptide. And I do think we need to go Riptide here and save basically all this as 6 mana, 4 mana plays. Can't do the kicker thing again. You mean duplicate a spell again? I'm worried that they're going to bounce this back and reset it or add some counters to it somehow. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Steal this 2 CMC card for 5 mana. Potentially is, maybe it's a 9/9 and we steal it for 5 mana. So, somewhat bold. I mean, we do have things we could kick, like the shell effect. That's what makes attacking into Riptide pretty nerve-wracking. I'm gonna call the bluff on the block, though. We are racing here. Good time zone fiddles, welcome. Yeah, we could have unkicked field research and then just royal it back. I'm being super greedy, I guess. I need to kick the field research because we're going to find the steal a creature that we want. Oh, man. Oppo outdoing us on our own game plan here. All right, start thinking about what we're bringing in. What else? Maybe we bring the... Now that we see Deadly Alliance and the Into the Royals, maybe we bring that shell back. Thanks for that gift sub. Nice of you. Let's see. What do we like out of here? We can't get anything back yet. So we could royal, but what are we royaling and why? We could royal the gecko to reset its counters. Let's, while we have a turn to do so, because even if Oppo alliances are Riptide and gets us for 1, 2, 3, 4, basically call it even 5, 6, 7, we're still alive. So I'm going to go field research. Kicked. And because of the alliance, I'm going to go ahead and attack. Although maybe I need to force them to use it. If I attack, they don't have to use it. Whereas they're going to want to if I leave it on D. Yeah, we did get the domination on the gecko, so we leave it there. It's going to attack, though. All right, I'm going to attack because I think they're doing the alliance anyway. This makes it happen. Yeah, I think you were right, Hannah. This is where we might have to... Like, I don't know if we have time to steal. It's all nice and well and good to steal stuff, but not when you're stealing tap stuff and you need defense. We could also just do Ascetic and Survivor. I like that. Could even hold up Royal in case we needed to send back Gecko for no value, but I'd almost rather just put the counter on the Ascetic and chump with the Survivor for a turn, make a 6/5. That's pretty good at holding the fort here. If they kill the 6/5, okay, we're in serious trouble. But it's still, yeah, it trades with Royal Mage or Current, so it's not even useless as a 1/1. Alright, they had a second alliance, which means we are going to definitely bring in the hexproofy stuff. Because 6/5 against growing green stuff is better. And this still does the blocking we need. You know, this, if we had the 6/5 still, obviously, this would be much better. All right, what can we do with our 8 mana? We can spend 5 on a steal and have 2 more for a chump or a bounce. We can just play the Royal Mage unkicked and steal the Gecko and then have a block and take 1. So we're not dead.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Now, if they counter this, we're dead. Oh, that's true. Now we can royal and get the kick. So let's, although we don't want to bounce either of these. We can kick the royal, but to what end? Letting them reset their Verizal or get an extra card out of their visionary? I would rather play the unkicked Royal Mage as a block for the visionary. Maybe they play, not with the Vine Gecko, it doesn't, Coordinator. Gecko discount, but I would rather take the chance that the Royal Mage can actually trade for this visionary. I mean, we're dead to any removal, but we're dead to a lot of stuff here, so. All right. They got it. On to 3. So let's get back the shield for sure. Broken Wings, Artifact Enchantment, Creature with Flying. We certainly are seeing the enchantment-based removal. Haven't actually seen much in terms of Creature with Flying, so I don't think we want that one. But we do need a cut. Need a cut. Could do 1 field research down. No, negate is what we wanted in. I don't love dropping a field research with the vision land. But yeah, we could also just cut a creature like Colossus that has been... Yeah, actually I like that. That's a good point. If we can't protect our creatures, then that removal, the removal becomes really devastating on a big drop. So yeah, let's just cut that down a little bit. Top at 5 plus kicking stuff. All right, I like that. Let's call this a Game 3 deck. All right, looks like a good start. Survivor into Familiar into even Kicked Might available if needed. Into Kicked Royal Mage if land. Oppo has Mold as well, so not going to turn that down when that happens to go our way. Stupid Gecko. That thing's good. Wish I had ours. I bet they don't block. That's my prediction. Shocker. Huh, with no 4th land, I suppose we try for the Visionary here. We could also attack first in case they want to try something tricksy with the Gecko. Trouble is, anything tricksy they do with like, we gotta assume they have an Into the Royal backup plan in case of anything we do here. I'm gonna send in the Survivor, though. Yeah, sending in Survivor. They can't kick it, exactly. But in an emergency, they would absolutely prevent like a 2-for-1 or whatever. They'd save their gecko, is what I'm saying. Why did you want to do the wizard first? That just exposes that this survivor is a, you know, they would have a free kick it, eat it type situation that I didn't want to do. See if this lands. They've shown some counters. Okay, good. Really need it. Hopefully get land here. Land that for some land. I haven't suffered that fate yet, Batmean, but give it time, give it time. I've certainly been mana screwed in my 19 land deck, though, yeah. Yeah, this is a fine start. We'll see what Oppo can come up with here on 4. They're getting into the meat of their stuff. They got, assuming, into the Royals now. Although nothing great for them to Royal. They could Royal the Familiar. Now we've got the Might play. In case of any blocking they want to do. We can also kick the Field Research. With the land, we could send in the Familiar as well. And we'd happily trade anything for the Gecko and then use the Might to pump the other thing if they block both. You think we want to kick a Field Research this turn? But yeah, let's say if I attack with that and they don't cause me to use the Might, that's when we have a very disappointing turn after. So I think G-Guards is right simply because the fail case of them not falling for the block is too punishing for us. But I will start here because if they want to give us Might here, I will take a trade, especially for that Vine Gecko. Might just take the trades. Let's see. Yeah, we have enough to win with. 8 minutes is fine. Yeah, we should just let the Visionaries trade, right? And then we can follow through with our own recovery, or not recovery plan, but ongoing value engine. I say this will be fine. Watch me lose on time. I think we'll be okay. Well, now we've got the Might, and we'll send the Survivor in a display of obvious smelliness. Yeah, I can do. Look, if I do memes literally every time something is kicked in this set, I think it's too much. But for you fiddles, do you want Beastie Boys or Tribe? Yeah, we could do Hannah's line. Just set up for a huge attack next turn. I like it. And then we get to save. We still have Might if we need it. I know, there's 2. I'm saying, who do you like, Fiddles? Oh, you were suggesting a brand new one. I gotcha. Gotcha. Well, you make it, and I'll consider running it. That's how it works. I let other people do it. That being said... Next turn, we can attack with an 05 with the presumption for sure that we are going to Might. But if 99 Knives wants to race, I'm in for the race. You bring that ascetic. I think Rick Roll is the J. Right. We will look out for presumed into the Royal. Like if Oppo continue, yeah. So that's funny. So clearly leaving up into the Royal mana. Don't really need more green. I'll play more blue. Yeah, that's true. They couldn't have kicked it there, but they can kick it on their turn now, right? Yes. Barons is into the Royal Proof. And we still have the Might. So let's go ahead and... Since this kicking no longer gives us a big body here, let's go ahead and activate the land again. And I'm going to attack just the Barons. I'm assuming into the Royal here. And so attacking with these just sets us up for into the Royal problems. And we can even just sit here on Might and on activate, putting 2 more counters on the land. We can also play like the Trap Finder, hold the Might, and have. I guess we can't hold the Might. We can play the Trap Finder and then have unblockability next turn. So yeah, I think unblockability next turn is worth dropping this dude. There's the Royal we were expecting. Next turn, we can even drop a Forest, play the Familiar, and kick the Might and get the life gain if we wanted to, but probably we just want to activate that Barons again. Race this Ascetic and the Gecko. See what Oppo wants to do. I mean, they can crash in with 9 here and make us worry about, death. They could threaten... No, I guess not threaten death. They can threaten bringing us to 1. Five. Can we activate land? Let's see. If we pay... 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we take this. Yeah, kicked Might is lethal because of the Gecko, right? So maybe we have to throw... I don't think we can risk dying to the kicked Might. So do we force them to use it? Yeah, I think if we're deciding either we don't take it and make them have it and accept losing, or we need to double block. There's no sense in feeling priced into a block and then making it a chump. I mean, I think we are in all sorts of trouble here, but Oppo has a good deck. We're going to do what we can. We're in make them have it mode. Unfortunately, I think they do, but that's the mode we're in here. And we had outs. We could steal this gecko with our next draw, for example. They might be considering just taking the 2-for-1 we're offering and maybe even adding on 5 damage, you know, just piling on +5 to the gecko. But I can't I mean, maybe it's figuring out which one to bounce. I mean, just bounce, bounce the trap finder, bounce either one, and it seems good for them. Yes, that's true. I'll play quickly so I don't time out here. Into the Royal it is. I don't think we can beat Into the... And they're tapping such that it's like Into the Royal and Might or something here. Although... But no, there's the Might. There's the Might. So they did go for the big smack. Come on, one time. Not quite. Not quite. But we are not dead. We might need the Barons on D since it can't be bounced by Into the Royals. But we also have... Yeah, familiar and pass feels good to me. We get to add lands to the add counters to the land and block. Or just add counters if they don't attack. Too bad this land doesn't have trample, like it's not good enough or something. I just mean, if it had some evasion, we might be able to find a way to win on that axis. We are now in trouble with the Falconer in the air, but if we kick something, we get a couple life back. Can we kick and activate? Can't quite kick and activate. Oh, maybe we can. Yeah, maybe we can. So let's kick the Royal Mage. Well, it's lethal unblocked. Okay, so let's say we do that, and then they're gonna block though. Yeah, sure. Let's activate an attack. It's a forced block now, or if they don't, we win. It's coming down in the next couple of turns. I know I got 2 minutes and got to play somewhat quickly, but I believe we can do this in 2 minutes one way or the other. Yeah, if they have another one of these, we're dead, but we do have an emergency gain 2. It doesn't do much for us in combat, but we do have 5 mana, gain 2 life if we need it. But I'm not going to do it unless they show us this is going to be lethal. No bounce. I think we need to actually gain life rather than grow land. No, maybe grow land is right. Whatever. I think this is tough for us, though. Ooh, vine gecko of our own. It's got to be this. Oh, gecko before. Oh, yeah, that's right. I should have done it. Well, I think they just block and we're dead. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked there, and we should have found a way to kick two things. Yeah. Too bad this doesn't have reach. I will... There's no way we get him to not attack here, but I'll throw a bluff. Vine Gecko looks like it has reach, but doesn't. Well, we lost the mirror, and our Oppo had a very good deck. No worries. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Again, I just had low clock. The two choices at the end of that turn before we untapped were kick the might to give us 2 life. I didn't do that. It was hard to talk about it all as it was happening, but basically we had 5 mana up, and our choice was either gain 2 life and throw away our pump spell, or put 2 more counters on the land. And the reason I went with the land is because one of our outs was that we find like a bounce spell for the single blocker they had. And then we could have found like Into the Royal and done the pump to then win. And now maybe we had that anyway. Again, it was hard to do all of the math under the pressure of the clock that was winding down in terms of losing me the match if I let it expire. So I had to make some quick decisions. But one of the things I was thinking about is, are we in a spot where the land alone is lethal without any help? And I felt like we needed to figure out how to win that next turn. And I felt like pumping the land and looking for an Into the Royal or a creature stealer was our best chance for winning on the next turn. And then we just didn't find the additional tools needed to pull that off. So now we're just going for 1,000. Unfortunately, that gems, that is. We can't 3-0. Too bad. But let's see what we can get done with this deck. Do we keep this on the strength of the Blight Blade? And what? Nah, I guess we have to mulligan. This is not close enough to anything good anytime soon. This we can keep. And we'll pitch one of these islands. Look for another one down the road. Or I'll just play a bunch of best of 1 War Furnace. I switched to best of 1 because I can't handle the clock. I'll open on Gecko. I don't think there are many... Yeah, I don't really need like the bubble thing and 2 islands to have something on 3 for this, but figured might as well. Sure thing. Mull to 3. Did you want a mull to 3? That would be impressive. Let's see. I guess we got to get rid of the Falconer and the land. Hope we find another land and just play the Diviner and that it gets there. All right. Plan is somewhat there still. Find another land we can start growing the barons at least. 1 year for the mensch. Thank you, Ubermensch. Oh yeah, it can grow now. It just can't grow in attack, but it can grow. Still, we're going to take field research and look for action. We do have 1 mana green cards, so I'm going to leave Forest open in case we find our Death Toucher. No, but we did find this. With having been disrupted by hand disruption, I'm going to be greedy on the Royal Mage. We're going to wait, try to kick it, grow our Gecko, get back our field research, and rebuild. We got knocked around a bit by discard, but we got a rebuilding coming. Look at all these skulkers. So many skulkers. Possible we just want to trade a couple here, actually. Accept both of these. And then find our 6th land, kick and rebuild. I'm doing this. You want to keep the mage? Gecko's just gonna... Sure, we could, but you understand they have infinite death touch over here? That's true. It guarantees the Royal Mage, but it's gonna trade with one of these eventually. I hear you, though. We'll hold to make sure we kick the Royal Mage, and then we can give up the Gecko if we need to. And do we just offer this now? You know they're going to take it. I think so. Whatever. You would still keep it for what? To make this cheaper? I mean, at some point, we're going to lose a land, the far more important barons to one of these Death Touchers. Let's see. And yeah, we'll go ahead and kick this. I guess I could attack first. Yeah, since I'm going to kick it, I might as well attack first.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Well, I'm going.
I was going to throw out this forest, but now that we have the domination, we could consider playing out the vision to give us more land, but I actually think we have enough land. So yeah, I'm going to play forest, and then we have might. They want to race, that's fine. No blocks. This takes away their death touch, and we just lose a Royal Mage, no biggie. Oh no, they're just using that to kill a Royal Mage, okay. Makes sense. Now maybe let's see what we can all do here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We could spend 5 on activating and attacking with the Barons, and then 3 on vision, or we can just steal 1 for 5 and still do the 3 on vision. Let's attack for 4, and then I'm going to go domination, hold vision. Oh, good. I thought this was an instant, but suddenly realized I hadn't read it in a while and was going to be pretty embarrassed if I passed with this as a sorcery in my hand. All right, got the first one. Red, black, aggro, rogues, clerics. Just looks like aggro, kill your hand, right? So they're trying to make us discard. That's worth thinking about. Maybe we want negate for all of their... but between the removal and the discard, I like that. The shell shield still seems fine. I'm kind of in another place where I want to cut the Seagate Colossus. I don't think that does stuff on a timetable that we need. Any other concerns we saw? No enchantments, no artifacts, no flyers. Let's narrow it down to our actual colors as well. This makes it a little easier. It's red and black, and what we did see is Royal Eruption and Mind Drain, and my assumption is that they're full of burn and kill. Generally, when I see red-black, I like my negates and my hexproofing. Let's see how it plays. Because the strength of red-black is the endless removal it provides. Exactly. Certainly a lot better than Colossus, right? That card was too slow for what's going on here. Like having the Ascetic at our 5 spot, get a little life back if Oppo gets a hot start. We're going to throw this Gecko out. It may die, but make him have it. I do like that under Gecko, Shell Shield is 1 mana. And this is what I was, again, trying to play around with negate. We're going to drop an island. And actually, I think we drop the shield. Like, I would like, nothing here is so valuable that we just desperately need to protect it. And Field Research helps rebuild. Royal Mage gets us back Field Research to help rebuild. So I'm going to go Island Shield here. And get us some more cards immediately. Yeah, true. If we decide that what we've got is now something we really want to protect, we can do that as well. But I imagine we'll be roiling back some additional action. But let's see if Gecko lives to see the untap. Indeed. And not much of a snare target. It still leaves the static. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter has menace. But it grows the Gecko, gives us something to do on this turn, which we didn't have before. So I am absolutely... Well, I mean, we could play no-value Royal Mage, but I don't think anybody's thinking we should do that against red-black in this current board state. So I'm going to Bubble Snare and get in. Yeah, we'll decide. I was going to say, well, choice made for us, as it turns out. But I was going to say, if we untap and draw a land, we don't have to run out the kicker stuff. We can Ascetic. As long as we know for sure we're going to get to that magic 6 at some point. In this case, I'm going to drop an Ascetic. and try to race a bat. All of this is fine. We just need to start kicking royal mages. Yeah, they're pretty close to kicking it. I don't know how useful this is going to be as a 1-1 lifelink as opposed to what could have been at 3-3. I love our chances here, though. They can keep using all this. I mean, that's a nice play, even. I mean, I gotta grant it. Like, I love Subtle Strike with the Gloom Hunter. Pumping this up to 2-2 is great. But we are... ultimately, I'm going to stay greedy. I'm going to actually put the counter on the Survivor. Death Touchers are already good as 1-1s. They don't need extra counters. I am not giving up the value here. They could discard us again, and that would be a Heartbreaker. Might be a Game 3 type Heartbreaker. But I'm going to find our untapped land, and we're going to kick this Royal Mage and get the value train going. All right, here we go. We can steal the Gloom Hunter at least. That's solid. Not sure which of these is more valuable on the ground. Probably the Blight Blade that can block anything versus a Survivor, which does more damage, but is not getting through the Disciple anyway. I'm going to cut the Survivor. I'm going to kill the Survivor. Can't find our 6th land. Funny. I mean, we've been, like, we had the Vine Mage that was going to let us kick all this stuff anyway. We keep swinging and missing, but I still like this spot. I'm going to offer the Blight Blade even. Thank you for that sub. You would hold back the Blight Blade. I think we're actually kind of racing here. About to drop a Diviner in the air to add 5 in the air to this 4-point life swing. If they want to trade Disciple, fine. If they want to trade 1 for 3 right now, I think that's fine. Because it's damage. Like, I'd rather attack for 3 than 2. It's that simple. And it's not like we're waiting for some green 6-drop. Thank you, Magnetic North. Prime sub. Remember, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you also have 1 free Twitch subscription to throw out a month. Be sure to do that. Don't let Jeff Bezos keep that $5. I was very clear to use the word green, you pedants. I'm not saying there aren't 6-drop creatures in red and black. Come on. I'm saying it's not generally the concern. Yeah, that was fine too. Explain the punt, fool. You get the domination and just steal basically most things they play, but I'm going to take field research. We have another Royal Mage if we want to take a steal effect. No problem, fool. Whenever I talk to Fool Auto, I have to use the Mr. T voice, though. There ain't no punt, fool. I pity the fool who punched me. So many fools to pity. Familiar, get some extra life. Well, I just like kick the field research again. Yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's steal it again. Let's Royal Mage the creature stealer back. Love it. Yep. What is it? Link. What do you want? Link for peanuts. Yeah. Here we go. Where's Link? Here's Link. Where's Peanuts? There's Peanuts. All right. Well, we certainly saw that blue-green kicker is a very fine place to be in the format if you can turn the corner. We won our 2 wins. It felt pretty handily. I mean, they were not bad games or not just runaway, but like I felt like we always had some good options and control. And then we lost in the mirror. We lost to what looked like a better version of our deck. So very nice. Kicker is proving to be a nice early front runner for a solid place to be. Blue-based, I say kicker, but really I just mean good blue stuff. Turning the corner with good blue. So again, does remind me a lot of Dominaria so far. Maybe the aggro is a little bit better. But I've gotten rolled over by Boros. The Boros deck here feels like better than it is in Dominaria, for example. Yeah, we lost in the mirror. No X-Men lunchboxes, sorry. I hope you're right, Jinx. I think it's too early to tell whether this is an all-timer like Dominaria, but I sure hope so. And it certainly has some potential to be that.